Okay, should be live now then. At least it's better when I press that key and I actually use that. But anyway, we should be able to bring the wheel up and see what we achieve. I have to double check this actually. Yeah, recording in progress. Like, if that was off, I wouldn't be getting my 4K capture. Anyway, we do need to continue with this. So, if I bring the wheel up, there we go. We don't want that wheel. We want the wheel for the body type. Let us see which it gives us. Ooh, is it? Okay, I was thinking it would give me high performance sport again, even though I shuffled this. No, we're getting a truck. Somewhat more interesting to see how this comes out. And we can quickly spin again to... Well, not spin again, but let's see. Okay, we've got a rear-engined truck. Well, pickup truck, I guess you could say. This is kind of interesting. I wonder if the size will throw up any surprises. We've got a mid-size rear-engined pickup truck. So, the one that immediately stands out to me is this one. Let's go 2.77. It's maybe not ideal, but it should work as a kind of case in point of what we need. So, if I just minimise the wheel, it looks very low to the ground. As I say, this isn't permanent. I will likely change it. It shows a van actually, but I think there is a pickup body of this van as well. As I say, it can all be set to change in the future. However, I do need to change the configuration of the wheel. So we have 7 options. I will bring the wheel up now and I will spin it. And we have got a carbon fibre pickup truck. What are you planning, wheel? Imagine it gave me a ladder frame now. That would be kind of interesting. We have got a ladder frame, okay. Now, what are we going to have in terms of... Oh no, I'm fearing, I think I know what this is going to go like, and I don't like it. So we've got 4 options and spin. We've got a steel ladder chassis. Honestly, that's not the worst place for it to cheap out. We've got rear engine, that has already been decided. And we've got 4 suspension options. Yep, it's done it. It started off so good with the, like, why does it settle on leaf springs though? There's live coil. Like, why couldn't it choose live coil? Why did it have to choose leaves? I don't know what to say. Like, this is a terrible suspension config. But the body material is good. It's just... how to go about this, I don't know. It's going to be higher off the ground. The pickup truck body, though, is probably going to save it a little in that regard, because pickup truck bodies don't inherently have to be super low to the ground to work. As I say, this is just a starter body. I can change it. I'll do the colour generation a little later. Let's go get more into the engineering aspect. We've got 5, 6, 7, no, 6 options. No, we've got... Sorry. Head not be working. We've got 2 options and we've got various all-wheel drives. It selects that. Oh dear. This is going to be bad. Rear-wheel drive. This is going to be bad. The best I could probably do is make it a dually, honestly, at this point. I mean, it's more entertaining, that's for sure. Like, it's more entertaining if it gives me a really messed up setup, but not necessarily for the better. We have got an inline. Yeah, an inline in a rear engine layout, and it's given me an inline 4 before. Just saying. Okay, we at least get some cylinders, even if it is a bad config for a pickup truck. We are at least getting a few cylinders. Now, 7 options. 5, 6, 7. And spin that. Okay, I think that's ours, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, pretty good. And then we've got 4 options for the header type. Overhead cam, okay. And then we've got another 3 options for type of like valve numbering. And we've got a 2 valve. I'll take it, okay? It's not direct acting overhead cam. I'll take it. So it's not the best. It's usable. We've got spin again. What are you plotting, wheel? Because I'm not sure I like your decisions thus far. Okay, we've got aluminium billet waste. Not a terrible block then in and of itself. Far from the best the wheel has built, but overall, it looks decent. We do have to choose the size. Now, this doesn't fit much in the back, but as I say, that's why I didn't want to like focus too heavily. We've got a mid-sized truck, so basically as long as it is kind of in this mid-size range, I can see if this is any good. I honestly don't suspect it will be. The largest type of this body, let us see. They call it Death Truck. I wonder why. So yeah, this just isn't going to fit. I'm sure it said it was like quite large still though for how it looks. But no, it's not going to fit. But it's, I don't know if this is just like short and wide, but let's try 2.77, about as large as I can go realistically on this body. This may just not like rear engined as a layout at all, but I have to give it a try. I think it was that other truck, it supports a lot of engine size in the front. Now this is only a 3-litre engine and it's already struggling to fit. It is an inline, so it's far from ideal, but I have to just keep looking until I find something that may actually function. I'd say that's more small, the body that's available. So 2.69. Will this fit a rear engine layout? Probably not, but I have to give these a try. Just to see, can I find something that actually works? I mean, as I say, the pickup truck body is going to carry this, because front leaf springs, at least the pickup truck body will make it look less off than it may otherwise have been. This does not like the rear engine layout. There was that one, and it fit a little better in there. So we have these all a little on the larger side. I mean, there's some that are like more huge bodies. I don't think they're going to support it great. Okay, this, I believe, this is like a Volkswagen type body. Should support rear engine quite well, but there's nothing that really I would say is mid-size that much. I guess 2.8. I can stretch a bit larger because it's a, is that really 2.8? That looks like 3. I think 2.8 meters wheelbase I can just about stretch to because this is a pickup truck. They are generally a little on the larger side, although there's a lot of overhang on the front and back here that isn't on other vehicles. So maybe I should just get a shorter wheelbase and respect that the bodywork is going to push it longer. 2.45 I would say is generally pretty short, but this vehicle in particular, you just look at that overhang, there is a lot on both the front and the rear. So how does this engine fit? Because this is technically a truck, but it's one designed to have the engine in the back. So of all the options, 200. Okay, that one I saw before, I think it's this one. 2.77 was it? Like, again, pushing to the larger end of the size. There's less overhang on this, so I can run a longer wheelbase and still have it kind of being mid-size. This is, I think it's a smaller version of what I used for the suspicious racing truck, as I called it. Either way, it seems to have engine space both in the front and the back. It seems to have pretty good engine sizing. So, we've got 112. I'm probably not going to get more than 4 litres, honestly. So, yeah, 4 litres is getting really tight with massively stroke bias. So, I can't go with more than 4 litres. I should have probably removed a wheel, honestly, while I was changing the body and stuff. Didn't think it would take that long. Either way, so we've got, I'm not going with a 1 litre, because a 1 litre is going to be hopeless at powering pretty much anything. So we've got up to 4 litres, just because nothing else will fit beyond 4 litres. Maybe you could get just like 4.1, but we're already extremely close to the limits for size. You know what? I know it's going to be very stroke bias, but we at least have 6 cylinders. This might not be as bad for power as you may anticipate. So it's 6 cylinders, overhead cam, if 2 valves, and 4 litres. Like, this could be decent. I probably shouldn't be saying it can be decent, but certainly I do see some ways this could kind of improve an otherwise terrible platform. 4, so what's that? 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'll take it. Forged steel. Well, I'm going to have to take it regardless of whether I like it or not. Forged light, not ideal, because I think this thing's going to be a more torque bias engine, but it's not cast. And what next? 5. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we've just avoided the cast stuff at the bottom here. So we have got a fully forged internals of various means. It's not going to be the absolute best engine for torque, but by the same token, it's going to be better than something with cast internals for torque. And counterweights, there's bigger flaws. So, I don't know, is this going to be like a 60s race truck, which for some reason has leaf springs on the front? You know what, it sounds absurd though, but I feel almost like this thing may be quick. Not very controllable, it may be a quick, uncontrollable monster of a thing. There's also tyres, that's another thing. I don't think you can really save it with tyres at this point, but you could definitely make it less bad than it has been in other cars in the past. I certainly don't think it's going to be powerless. And we have got a form of VVL. And we have got 4 different aspirations. NA, supercharged, twin charged, and turbo. And we are getting twin charged. Yeah, like, as I say, this thing is definitely going to make some power for what it is. But it's going to have other struggles. So we've got... Okay, we've got turbo and supercharger to configure. 1, 2, 3. Let us see. We've got a good turbo. I'm not sure about ball bearing. I should just... yeah, I'll adjust the control of the supercharger now. Because while it's on the wheel of 3 different elements, let's say. Supercharger is less important than the turbo, I feel, to get certain technology. So yeah, bypass. Pretty simple supercharger, but as I say, simpling out on the supercharger isn't as bad as cutting corners on the turbocharger. And have we got 2? No, we've got spin again. And I can hope for a 2. Yes, we've got a 2. So we've got not a great supercharger, which doesn't matter too much, and we've got a really rather good turbo. I think this is going to be a pretty nice twin charge unit, honestly, in the grand scheme of things. We only have fuel injection. Like, it loves to choose carburetors. That's not a flaw we can have on the twin charge setup. It just doesn't allow you to have carburetors. And I feel there is a IRL reason for it, but either way, it doesn't allow it. And we've even got direct injection. It doesn't support per cylinder as well, but this is good fuel injection. As I say, somewhat makes up for the header and the lack of VVT, just the fact that the rest of the engine is so brutally good. And even then, the header isn't awful, it's just there's better out there. So we have got to choose a... We're going to choose a fuel type, of which there are 6. 4... 5, 6. And let us see which we can receive. 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think methanol is good for power, but from my past experience with these wheel builds, it makes no miles per gallon. Sure, in a pickup truck, is that ideal? Well, I was going to say a heavy pickup truck. It's made of carbon fibre and it's mid-size. It may not be that awful. It's on a ladder frame as well. Performance high, okay. That's not bad at all. We've got to go with 3. Turbo compact, turbo mid, tubular waste. We're getting turbo mid. Okay, it's not compact. I'll take it as a win. Enough of a win. Are we getting bypass valves? It looks like we're stuck with single exhaust, which makes sense. It's an inline 6. We are not getting bypass valves. This thing is either not going to breathe, or it's more likely going to have an obnoxiously massive exhaust. So, 6. Let us see. We're getting 5. Okay, freeway plus pre-cap. I mean, it's restricting airflow somewhat because it's not got high flow or anything. So probably going to have to go with a gargantuan exhaust, as I say, to get the air pushed out of its engine and stuff. But that aside, maybe it will make some power. We have got a baffled muffler. Yeah, it's definitely baffled, and the wheel appears to be lagging, which is a little odd. And we've got straight through. This thing will either be noisy Or like the turbo will muffle it a little and it won't be that awful. I don't know, it depends on engines, because some engines you could have no muffling on and they're still pretty quiet. So what have we got for that? Oh. Something is just badly messed up with the engine. Even if I remove a wheel, you'll see. Something is just messed up. I can probably tune that. Most likely it's just a really awkward build. I can't see how it sounds now, though, because there is nothing to see how it sounds. As it's just inoperable. Let us see what transmission we get. Almost chose a 1. Honestly, 1 is manual. It's not that bad. In this regard, it's harder to go wrong with this particular menu. So we will spin again. Really just like spinning again. Okay, we've got 4. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. It seems to like auto manuals. I can't complain too much. Like, it's not a great transmission type. We've got leaf springs on the front. I think there is going to be bigger issues than the transmission at this point. Like the rear-wheel drive as well. We have got 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5-speed auto manual. I will take that. Things could have been a lot worse. And indeed, I think the rest of the platform issues are going to play into it in a more negative manner. Wheels chance to be really cruel. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Viscous is not great, but as I say, with all of the issues we've got here, like leaf springs down there, with all these issues, I just don't think that's going to be as much of an issue as it may have if we're going for like some absolute speed monster of a car, which, as much as I would love that, it's just not going to work on this thing. We have got... oh. Okay, I don't know how to feel about this. It's cross-ply. But it's definitely the race tyres, so it's a lot better than the cross-ply, the regular cross-ply. And in certain situations, even better than the radial non-race tyres. So, you know, I'm not sure. It's as I say, this might be quick, but uncontrollable. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's actually the same as the toasty wheels. As the signs are showing me, I think this thing may be extremely quick, but also not very controllable. I mean, wet tyres are not going to be that great off-road. They should be good in general road circumstances because, you know, they can deal with wet and they can deal with some imperfect road surfacing. A little better than full-out slicks can. So we've got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got forged wheels. We are getting some good stuff here. I'll just see. Okay, these race tyres are actually surprisingly good. It looks like I can get 285, 295, and still pretty large wheels. So 18s are about as large as I can go, but like 18 285s, they're pretty good actually. I mean, they look far too large, and they probably are, but if we need the brakes, we have a good amount of size there to help us along. We have... I mean, for cross-plies, like, that's impressive. So we have 5 options, speaking of the brakes. And let us see. Okay, good. We've got disc brakes. This is very good, especially if we've got a little more weight on the thing. The MPV type thing it built last time around, though, that wasn't awful, but you could tell it was top-heavy, and I fear we're going to get that with this. And its leaf springs. Okay, 2-piston solid discs. I'll take that. They're generally pretty good. So it's not giving me drum brakes. There is still hope, even with the front leaf springs. Granted, it's going to take a lot of tuning to get this as I want it to. It's not going to be the easiest thing to suspension tune at all. As I say, being a ladder frame and a pickup body may well save this, even if it's only rear-wheel drive. We've got vented discs on the way. You know what? It's kind of disbalanced, but for a randomised vehicle, it's actually fairly balanced. Rear has better ventilation. There's some reasons in reality where you may actually go with this configuration, like if the rear brake's overheated really easily, then it makes more sense to have discs on the front where they're not overheating, but vented on the rear where they are. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The rear is better than the front, honestly, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. We've not got drum SLS or drum 2LS on the front. They are decent disc brakes. So we have under tray. Let us see which we get. Can the under tray save it? Probably not. And we've got a 1. We've got no under tray. At least that's going to save weight. That's the one good thing I can say about that. I will adjust the active aero and stuff later. Yes, just putting this stuff aside. We have different options for seats and such. You know what? I might just try this. So, as it's a pickup truck, it's the one case where I would say a front bench seat would probably work. So, we'll go... What kind of number of seats? We're going to go with 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Like, it could be any number of these seats. Because I don't think less than 2 is ever going to be a practical option. We've got spin again. I don't want loads of seats, I'll be honest. Maybe you'll know why. We've got 4. Okay, that's an okay number. It's just, as I say, I want to keep the weight to the front. It's actually, that chassis is a bit odd. I think there are some controls you can use with that I've discovered, which are a lot better. Actually, that like shows the interior being way back here. That's not going to be how it should be. Although I could also move the firewall back and like... That's probably what I would do to kind of manipulate that into being a cabin space. I'm getting sidetracked, honestly. So we've got 7... We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're getting 7. We are getting a race interior, okay? 4-seater race truck, which happens to have leaf springs on the front. At least I can see a vision. If I stiffen this up loads and turn it into like some kind of pseudo race truck, I could definitely see there being an idea. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6. Because typically I'm going to use like 8-track in the 70s as the absolute lowest point. And we have got 2. So that is, yeah, we've got a cassette player of some kind. Now, this isn't bad. It's going to save weight, which, as I say, if this thing is to carry speed, we're going to need to give it every bit of assistance it can possibly get. So we've got premium cassette. Well, that's an interesting option. We do at least have music. So I can say that's a good thing. We have at least a probably half decent audio system, but we just don't have a CD player or anything that you would actually want in the modern age. Granted, I do have cassettes, so I would at least be able to listen to something. With circulating ball, not the worst option. Manual rack and pinion would be worse, especially for a heavy car. I don't like the fact that it's devoid of power steering. I think with the engine in the back, that's one of the less bad things it could have done for me. And we have got 5 options here. So let us see which one it selects. Okay, ESC. We've got no launch control. I don't think it'll need launch control if I have like 285. So as long as it's not making insane levels of power, honestly, I think we'll be good. We have got safety. So again, I'll go with 70s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6 different options. Let us see. And we have got modern safety. Hey, at least when this thing inevitably throws us into a bush, we're more likely to survive the incident. So it's got that going for it. Standard 20 safety. So it's not great for, like, weight, but I think we'll get by. Now, suspension. We've already kind of done it in with leaf springs. There is a chance it can be somewhat saved. We've got active sport. Excellent, actually. Because this is going to be more performance orientated anyway, so that's probably about as good as we could have possibly asked for. Granted, it's not really going to play on the front suspension anyway. It's going to be all on the back. Adaptive dampers. And passive sway bars, but it's active sport. So, I mean, at least in the case of reducing roll, that should give the back some kind of advantage in kind of corresponding with the front leaf springs, which are just naturally extremely stiff. So I think bad, yes, the suspension setup is, but it's almost like the wheel has now tried to save the car after that disaster. So before getting into the design loads, we do need to select whether we get the aerodynamics, and we also need to select a random colour. So I'm going to have to find a thing, because I'm disorganised and I never bring this up. Okay, this will do. I believe I've used it before. So I'm going to go and generate a couple more colours. That's the wrong thing. That one, yeah, I'm not going to use that. That was just default when I open the web page. So we have got a blue colour. I've copied that to my clipboard. So that blue colour I would say is fairly nice. I do want to change these wheels because I think I've got forged wheels as an option. So we can go with something pretty high end and it will work visually. At least it's like it put leaf springs on the front and then it regretted its decision and tried to save the vehicle. It's a very interesting few choices it's made. I'm pretty much stuck with this body just for fitting the 4-litre inline 6 in. I don't despise this body, honestly. It's a nice enough body. So, do we have, I think it's on trim, yeah, pillar trim. Then we can make another colour option. So, let us see what it generates. We've got blue and blue. I don't hate this. A darker blue. This could look pretty nice, actually. We've actually got kind of Core 2 Duo darker blue, if I just show this better. Got a kind of Core 2 Duo darker blue colour. And then we've got a lighter blue, which is more of like your traditional kind of 1950s, 1960s kind of colour. So if I just go to view body slots, I can try and like give us some kind of two-tone for the time being. Maybe having a light blue on the upper part of the car would work quite well. I'm not too sure, honestly. So we have a roof, and there you go, like invert this colour scheme basically. But that's what I've got for now. There are selected colours. I think I could do something with it, especially if I adjust the shine and the flake and stuff. I think I can do quite a lot with that. I do want the main colour to be the darker blue though. But that's aside from what I'm trying to get onto, which is the aero. So if I load up the wheel. So we'll have none, rear or all. Front only just doesn't really work all that well. So we have got none. Okay. I was going to say though, that's not going to save it, but no aero is not the worst it could have selected. At least it's going to be balanced and equally terrible. I imagine this being like an off-roady vehicle. It could have given me rally cross-ply tyres, which would have been a little more natural. And man, these are just messing with me. I have to change these wheels. They do not look correct at all. I'm not going to say they have to be this big, but it gives me a lot of leeway for the brakes, should I need it. They look better. I think I'm going to want something, I would say a little more traditional. They're Porsche Carrera GT wheels. They don't look the worst. So I'm going to give that a try. We do have, we have cooling flaps as well. So we're going to go 1 and 2. We've got to check for cooling flaps. We cannot add active aero as there is no aero. We are getting cooling flaps. Okay, so it's not looking too bad. The overall config, it could be okay. Granted, the suspension is not good because of the leaf springs. I think this car pulls ahead. Like, it's got rear-wheel drive and it's got leaf springs on the front. I think we can still make something of this. It's not going to corner, as I say, but I don't think we're going to get a chronic understeer. And I think if we can get it to grip but on the tyres alone, I do believe that we are on to something. 61% wear. So the weight balance isn't even that bad, if I'm quite honest. How much does it weigh? 13.94. Okay. It has some redeeming factors. It's pretty light. It's lighter than the one we built last time. And it's got overall just decent weight balance for what it is. Now, I am going to have to fix the engine. Like, this is unavoidable. The engine was always messed up from when I started it. We've got 4 litres exactly. Now, okay, it doesn't rev out and it doesn't make a lot of torque, more importantly. There is one thing we can try, and that's raising the bore a little. We can't do a lot with this, but we can raise the bore up just a little. Just a touch. That should be enough to maybe net me 100 RPM or so. As I say, it's going to be very stroke biased. That's just due to the prompt it's given me and the amount of bodies available. I've chosen about the best body I think I could have chosen, honestly. There may be other ones available, but I think this body is just generally pretty forgiving for engine size, no matter where the engine might be mounted. So this is the one that I should really be using. It also works. Like, it's just one of those bodies, no matter what you do to it, it just seems to be able to work. Make it longer, it works. Make it shorter, it works. Put the engine wherever, it works. And I'm kind of procrastinating. Okay, it goes up to 333 torque. It's not capable of making a lot of torque, so I'm probably better off like revving it about as high as I can, which is not very high. If I can rack a lot of what do you call it on? If I can rack a lot of counterweights on and get it to rev up 100 more. Nope. All I wanted was 100 extra RPM to just push it that little further. It doesn't do anything. I just have to check, like, if it gave me a harmonic damper. Harmonic damper would have helped a lot, actually, for RPM and torque. But we don't get that. We are stuck with what we have got. So I think the first thing is the torque. It doesn't look obnoxiously high, though. So I can just try and use this bass tune. I'll try tuning it for power and then tuning it for economy and then demographic if that doesn't work. Just to get a working baseline, and then I will tune it all myself. Okay, tune for target demographic. No, it was unable to tune the engine. So I'm thinking what I'll do, lower the boost of the turbo. And we'll lower the supercharger size. I'm like 5.6 litres. It shouldn't have to be that big. Okay, not great, but we are making some power before the thing grenades itself. Failed due to excessive torque load. We can remove the intercooler. As I say, not the optimal decision, but it does actually lower torque. I think we're going to have to basically avoid messing with the supercharger because it adds a lot of torque. I mean, this is revving out as well, like as much as it'll go. The thing loves to make torque, but I think we're going to be restricted to power. As I say, power isn't everything. If we can still make 250 horsepower, it's making better fuel economy than some of these vehicles. But if we can make 350 horsepower, or 250 should I say, we may be able to pull some power from it. We may be able to pull some speed from it, especially given it's not that heavy. It's not going to be the fastest vehicle, I would say. You never know with these stuff. So we've got VVL profile. We can lower that, maybe. That has lowered the speed at the peak, but we're kind of, I don't know. So we raise that up. Raises torque, yeah. So there's only so much you can actually do. Like, the torque is way too high, and there's not a whole lot we can do. I could make the engine smaller, and honestly, I feel like going to, say, 3.5 is probably better for the engine. That way I am still using the extra displacement. I'm just kind of stretching the limits a little to, say, making this engine smaller. I think it's just going to be massively beneficial to it. I don't think we can use the full 4 litres. As I say, I'm going to keep it to the upper side, just about, so 3501. This should make, yeah, this makes a lot more torque, so it's probably going to make more power. It revs higher. Like, that's going to save the engine, so it's rare that I would have to do this. I think I did on the, what was it called as well? With the 4-cylinder, the failure of a vehicle, or however it was exactly said. But yeah, okay, 6,800. So it's about the right RPM. We are making torque within limitations. Like, I think I've not even lost that much power, to be honest, by making it the lower displacement. So this just suits the engine better. As I say, I wouldn't usually make the engine this compact under the ruling giving me, say, I have to use a 4 litre or up to 4 litre. But it is within the prompt, I believe, because it said 3 to 4 litres basically, and I am within that, even if it's not like optimally within it. Compression is getting very high, but at least we are working it here. I feel as long as I don't like try and raise the RPM too much, this will be fine. Because it doesn't like revving any higher than it is now. But as I say, as long as I don't rev it higher, we're making 250 horsepower. I think we can make a little more now I've made the engine a little smaller. Torque is the limitation here, as is RPM actually. None of this stuff is great. Because it's used, I would say, yeah, because it's used like higher RPM stuff. If I could keep it low revving and just make a torque monster, that would probably suit this a little better. But it's not massively heavy. So as long as we can make like 350 torque, it's going to move the car. So how messed up is the airflow? Kind of messed up. I mean, the valves are 97%. The valves are super high. I think if we make the valves higher, would I say? I don't know, because there's a million different variables. The cam profile, okay. I can try messing with the VVL profile, but that raises the RPM. That's the issue. Why it's like that, I cannot say. We do not have valve timing, which I don't think it needs that desperately. So the valves, are they going down? Because the number there is super high for airflow. So okay, I can favour lower RPM that way. I can try and adjust the springs and lifters. Typically this does lower the RPM if you do it correctly. And I know the power curve is a little messed up, but as I say, we can afford a little torque now with the new configuration. And I think the power is flattening out nicely as I do this. Maybe if we could get like 270, I think I would be more than happy with 270. I'm not going to say it'll make that power. And if I do say that, I'll probably be expecting too much. But anyway, I think the VVL may do a thing for it. Oh dear, cam profile. What you doing to me? Okay, I can get it down to... Okay, that's lowered the performance a little, but I feel like having that lower has made the RPM a bit more usable. Just trying to generally make this thing usable. The valves are on 94%, which I somehow feel that's too high to be optimal, but it is how it is. We do want to raise this a little, I would say, just to make the whole thing like level up. And then we can adjust the VVL profile, sorry, and like it's not continuous. I think that's continuous VVL, but we have got something to just help this car on its way, and that means something to me. So we've got that. VVL RPM, like it's at 4,000. I think I can lower that a little, and indeed that should make this thing a little more consistent if I find the right kind of point for it to kick in. It's going to kick in, but like you can make that kick a lot less noticeable having it on, say, 3700. Like that's not too noticeable. That's fairly smooth. I'm not going to say it's like perfectly smooth. It just isn't, but it's better than it was. So VVL kicking in, we can use this to our advantage. It's even lowering RPM. Try adjusting the VVL RPM a little more. Raise it up again. Just to make this work, I do at least have sufficient control, I think, to make the VVL work. And I mean, it may be it may be like compensating for the lack of valve timing as well with how it's set up. At least to an extent, to say, you know, if this kicks in here, it's kind of helping the timing change a little. Since it doesn't have valve timing, it can't really use that to its advantage. I'll admit, valve timing is probably a bit less useful on an engine like this, but still, if we can keep this at 6600, sorry, and like the Q6600, I think that was one of the first quad cores. Still, the 6600 RPM, I think that's a decent peak. The compression is going to need changing most likely. The valves have actually gone down a lot. I think the VVL has helped that. So we're looking at a less absurd number here at 79. I could probably get the airflow working, because that number was just absurdly high. Like, it shouldn't be that high. We can lower the compression. I mean, as I say, making the engine smaller has massively helped it, because now it does have some peak RPM, if not the most. I think we can go to 6900. That's a very nice RPM limit. And it's also below the limitations of the engine. I do wonder, actually, could I adjust the counter rates now and perhaps get a bit more RPM out of it? Because it needs as much RPM as I can get without changing the config. No, it doesn't make a blind bit of difference. For anything that matters, it doesn't make a blind bit of difference. So the brakes are suffering from severe brake fade. Okay, I can fix that. We have now a workable engine, though. I could try adding the intercooler. I just don't think that's the best use. Like, as I say, I've tried building engines before where I'm limited for... not torque. For torque. Sorry, my head not working. Where I'm limited for torque before. That's not been the best option. So we can run a tiny supercharger, I think. It starts ramping up after a certain point. So we don't want a massive supercharger. I think, yeah, after that point it starts ramping up. I think it's to do with a turbocharger, honestly. But no less. Yeah, like that turbo ramps up. I can put the boost up a little, I think. And then we can also adjust the valve lift profile. I don't know. Like, something has to be done to get this car working. 276.3, but that raises up RPM, even if it technically makes it more powerful. And 4,200. Okay, I'll take that. As I say, it's all about making this power curve consistent enough. It's never going to be perfect, but I feel like as the RPM stands now, it's pretty good. It makes good power, it makes good torque, and that's even an engine that's not particularly finished in its state of build. So we can try adjusting things as well, like the manifold. Just try and make the airflow generally consistent. Because you don't want the airflow to be, like, massively off. I can't do anything with the intercooler because the intercooler is just as it is. We've got a waste manifold. Okay. So, like, even if this doesn't show as being particularly optimal, we have got the manifold and the valves lined up pretty good for airflow. As I say, we've got the headers, we've got the exhaust. The exhaust can be larger, and I suspect there's a lot of power in this. Yes, there is. It may raise torque up. It weighs it a little, but we're still within limitations. Well, the limitations are what, 380, so we're doing pretty well. As long as I don't get too much crazy twin-charged power from this, we should be fine. So we have got 77. Can change the headers a little. Just try and make sure everything is like around about 80. Airflow is now nice and consistent. We've got 6,700 RPM and a 6,900 RPM limit. I think they're good numbers. Let's hear how it sounds. I mean, if we're making 300 horsepower, that's not an awful number. Not sure how audible that was. It's pretty quiet, honestly. Like, despite the front leaf springs, everything here other than that is actually adding up to be quite a nice little race truck. I say little, it's more mid-size, but a nice race truck, irregardless. So we've got to sort the brakes out. Now, these tyres will have incredible grip, even if they're not as crazy large. So what have we got for braking performance, I wonder? 30.2. Now, if I just check something, like if I can make these wheels a little smaller, we've got, okay, smaller brakes. It is worse for brake performance, but can we get wider tyres? Because I guess that's another thing that ultimately comes down to how good this thing will turn out to be. I mean, we can try and, like, yeah, can try and move this stuff out. There's only so much you can do visually. It's not going to be perfect, but there's only so much you can visually do to, like, extend the wheel arches. I think that black trim there doesn't have to be out a crazy amount, because I can just do it with the body colour trim. Okay, 335. We can make these tyres massive. Like, they do not seem to behave like cross plies. It could just be because that the tyres are so big, kind of thing, or the sidewall is so big. But I do think we're onto something. We can go 345s on this. Like, that's good. It depends ultimately on how the torque is transferred as well. But as I say, we have the tyres here. It looks like 345 is the limit with the 17-inch wheels. I'll take it. I mean, I can try making the wheels larger as well. We're not going to be putting down such an absurd amount of power that I think I'll need 345s, but it's good to have the option there. So, let's see, where was it? Ah, summary. 31.7. Now, as I was saying, the larger brakes, they did show as working better. So we've got 305s. 305 is, I think, good enough. I might have to make the fronts a little narrower. I'll have to see how the thing plays out. But I believe we've got wide enough tyres for this thing to go incredibly fast, if, like, uncontrollable. I'll try and actually extend that out, because if it's got rear seats, got to try and make this thing look like it could actually seat some passengers. I don't have to go crazy per se, just, you know, enough to make this thing seem seem like it might fit the passengers that it's supposed to fit. I can actually do that. I can lower the roofline a little. Make this a bit more of a sport truck. I mean, there's no engine in the front, so we don't necessarily have to run that as crazy in that direction. I think lowering that, just try and get that more, would you say, typical van profile? Ah, there we go. I think personally that looks a little better. Just more of a normal van profile, although it is technically a pickup truck. And I mean, as I say, I've extended the body out. I can probably extend the tail out a little to make it more justified in being a pickup truck. There we go. I don't want it to completely avoid being mid-size, though, if that makes sense. So I can have a little more tail, but I don't want masses of tail. The double wishbones on the back actually scare me. Like, if it was leaf springs all around, but then it's been rear engine, so you can't really do that. I mean, the wheel has built some good cars. And this car is in that kind of iffy territory. Like, I don't know if it's actually going to be decent or if it's going to be downright awful. As I say, we can not quite max out the brake size on 18s, but then I make them bigger, I probably lose a little too much width. That would be my personal opinion on the matter. I think 305s are good. I wouldn't necessarily want to lose more tyre width. It brakes extremely well, though. Like, we have good brakes. Even on the front, where it usually loves selecting drum brakes, it's given us good brakes. Now, as I say, the suspension tuning will be important. In this particular vehicle's case, is it oversteering? Yeah, it tends to oversteer. I can put some stagger on the tyres, as they say, but I think the key thing here is follow the sportiness. It doesn't have any drivability. That's kind of scary. I mean, yeah, I feel like if I could stagger these tyres a little, let's go 235s for an example. Just to get this thing running, 30 point, okay. That's interesting, it actually brakes better, so if I make these even smaller, 32, okay, it's like there's a balance point, so if I go to say 255, 30.9, I feel like I'm finding some cheat code here, so 30.8, so making these smaller for some complete mystery reason is making braking better. I'm guessing it's the weight of the units. 30.8. Like, I mean, if these tyres don't need to be super wide, then I can run them smaller. And if it's not hitting me for brake performance either, there's not a particular downside to it. I am going to have to make them wider in the track width, just to stop this thing rolling. It's on leaf springs. There's only so many chances I can take. The one advantage of having front leaf springs is probably that they are naturally stiff, so they will stop roll just in their intrinsic nature. But yeah, there's limits to how good this can be. And as I say, it's raised up. Like, if I give this more of an off-roady look, it will probably make it look a little more forgivable, let's say. I don't necessarily have to go crazy. Just make it look like, I don't know, it's got some trim and stuff, maybe some black bumpers and stuff, just to make it look like it's an off-roader. Then it will look more excusable and the wide height won't look too out of place. I don't think I want to make it look like a race truck, even if it is 1,500 kilos. It could be heavier. I mean, these things usually gain a bit of weight as I tune them, due to probably the brakes getting larger and just generally maybe some stiffer springs are heavier. I don't know. It's still got, like, no drivability, and that kind of scares me. So I'll go make this, I'll make these soft, like, really soft. Just because, as I say, leaf springs are, like, naturally pretty stiff. And then I will go and adjust the double wishbones for max sportiness, and also just make them generally firm. Why drivability is so bad, I don't know. The brakes being so obnoxiously strong probably is going to hurt that, but no less, I do think I'm onto something if I can get this tuned. That's the issue. It's got sufficient power, I believe, for the weight. Like, that MPV thing, that was the quickest car I've ever built on this, and that had 350 horsepower and about 1,600 kilos. If we can make that kind of power, this thing is definitely going to be in with a shot of being the fastest, if it's actually controllable, should I say. So do we want the rear sway bars to be stiffer? Yes. I mean, it makes sense because typically leaf springs are less... could probably remove a camber just for now. Typically leaf springs are, as I say, pretty firm. And double wishbones are not super firm. Like, that's why trucks use live axles on the back, live coil or live leaf, because they are stiff, just generally. And they don't cost that much, but... it's not always the solution, and in this case, you do not want leaf springs on the front. As I say, if you've got a massive V8 over the front and rear leaf springs kind of make sense. Because you've got a lot of, like, V8 nose weight to support there. This is rear-engined. It's not like we're going to have a massive amount of nose weight. But I do have an idea to make this work. As I say, I'm just going off of sportiness now. Because sportiness, it's like, things like how flat it corners, I think, and just how good it is, how fun it is to drive. So, in this particular context, it makes sense. It's never going to be low to the ground. But the one advantage of that is we can try and tune it to attack curbs. No idea how well that'll work. The rear dampers are hard. I'll try making the rear springs stiffer about as much as I practically can. As I say, it will lean heavily on those front leaf springs, so I've got to try and make this work. I can't afford to throw this car away at this point because it actually does have some track potential. As much of a bizarre thing it is to say about it, I feel like this could have some pretty good track potential if I get this thing to corner fairly balanced. The rear dampers are still hard. I mean, it's going to hit sportiness making the dampers softer, but... if it works out, then it works out. 8.0. The rear dampers are actually extremely hard. More than I realised they should be, but... so, have we got... we've got 20 on the... yeah, like the rear dampers, they are just so nasty in terms of stiffness, it seems. And I don't want this thing to be completely out of whack. Like, how the drivability is so low, I don't know. Like, is it, it's not, I'm surprised by this. It's not actually complaining about the manual steering and on-power steering. I thought it would complain about that. So it's not complaining about the rear, it's not complaining about the rear dampers anymore. That's something. And we can try adjusting the rear sway bars. Like, as I say, the leaf springs are something else, so they're going to have to be tuned after the rear. It is rear bias for weight as well, like, that's something else. We've got 1510 kilos, and we've got 59% of the weight. Okay, weight balance has somehow got better. I'm not sure if that's me morphing the body around has helped that. Weight balance is actually now getting okay for a kind of sports car, which this thing, I feel it wants to be a sports car, but there's just stuff going on that play against it quite massively. The leaf springs being the obvious example. I want to run the front, I think, as soft as I practically can, and the rear as firm as I practically can. Bit of a contrast there, but, you know, without losing sportiness, I'll make the front as soft as I can. Leaf springs are just naturally extremely firm, so that's something. Then the damping... 20.9, that's put it up a lot. I'll see how firm I can go on the damping as well. I have nothing against firm damping, but I don't know why the drivability is so bad, like, or non-existent, should I say. Maybe I'll get in this thing and drive it, and it'll be, like, completely intolerably bad. So, if that's the case, that's just how it's going to be. And I'll have to accept this car is a lost cause, or this truck is a lost cause, but... you know, it's as it is. So, 23.1, 23.2. Okay, so the front dampers are... the front dampers are not actually that likely to get firm. They just seem to be set up that way. I guess the rear dampers are extremely stiff. So, having like 2.0 on the dampers isn't the same. I mean, all I can do is try this thing. There is anti-roll on the front still, so leaf springs do not tend to roll. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't show it to improve anything, and it makes sense. Leaf springs do not naturally roll like other suspension systems do. So, they will roll, but they're just nowhere near as bad as other suspension systems. As I say, there are advantages to leaf springs, just in this particular context, you do not want them on the front paired with double wishbones on the back. That is a poor suspension setup. All I can do is try and adjust everything around it and see what I can get. So how are the brakes doing? We have got massive brakes. I mean, maybe... Okay, maybe the massive rear brakes have drivability issues. That's a possibility. So 30.9 for brakes. If I can just make these smaller but keep most of my braking performance. And I've clicked on the wrong thing. So we have got 30.9, yeah. So the rear brakes do not need to be as massive as I am making them. Which is also actually kind of a good thing, because I can use it to help the weight balance. So if we just look back here, 58.3 rear. The weight balance has actually got better as this car has continued to be built. I can't hate on that. Like, the weight balance started being over 60% rear, and I was like, this isn't great. As the build has gone on, things have just got better. And I will take that as a victory. So, car model designer. I do believe I want some plastics on this, as I say, just to make it look a little more off-roady, even though it's kind of going to be a road car. So we've got that. Global. I think we want like matte plastic if I can find it. No, it's been one of those awkward things. So I think if we add that, actually maybe we could go with some kind of greyed plastic over like just the absolute black one. Slightly bit more grey. I think we can change the paint, make it just generally rougher. So value, yeah, make it a little more like this. This isn't going to be like one of the main colours, it's just going to be used for a bit of trim. Can also try making the wheels black. Can try changing the wheels as well to something that maybe befits, say, off-roader a little more. There are alloys out there that suit off-roaders. So bumpiness, we can make this like more bumpy actually. Gives us some good options. It doesn't like directly show it though. So let's give this a try. I think this does offer some kind of two-tone. So miscellaneous paint too. Yes, that's the kind of stuff. So miscellaneous paint 3. We have the rear bumper. And we have the front bumper. There we go. Like, as I say, just trying to make this thing look more off-roady, because it's not going to get any lower to the ground. Even though it is kind of a track truck of sorts, this thing just isn't going to get lower to the ground. So the only way for me to kind of get this all to tie together is doing something like this. Is there any more trim options? Because I feel like there should be something on the front. Yeah, try it. Yeah, I think that's already there. I can't fill in this little gap very easily, so I'll just leave it. Like, it's not ideal, but I only have so much time on stream to do this stuff, and I want to use it wisely. Can go with a lot more black trim there, actually. Like, there's some chrome. Chrome is not off-roady, so we don't want chrome, because it's just not going to look like an off-roader. I mean, I could put the plastic there, which fills in the gap a little more. Ooh, there's a tray. Yeah, let's add that black plastic in there. And I am going to use a two-tone. I'm going to use a two-tone somewhat still. Just if I find the right options. Where is the miscellaneous paint? It's somewhere here. Primary car, okay. I could go with a black bonnet, but I don't think that'll work. And then, as I say, for the lighter colour, I'll use the top trim. Because I feel like having the darker colour and then the lighter one works quite well overall. I will have to fine-tune the colours a little, because I think that being a little less glossy on the top and a little more glossy on the lower trim would work quite well. And also for the flake and stuff. This shouldn't have that much metal flake, I would say. I can go with metal flake, it's just It's not the most off-roady paint. Like, you'd think you just want basic white or something. It has not rolled me white, but I think we're onto something. I could probably also change the wheels, actually. I don't think it would hurt the wheels particularly to match the other colour a little. Like, I would say that. Having looked at that, yes, it does affect it. That's plastic, sure, but I can also add a... I'll add a like, metal colour. Actually, I think painted iron, is it? Something like that. That's kind of a rough colour. No, if it was like winkle paint or something they called it. I think we want shine there, but we don't want any, flake. So I'm just going to call this metal. We can't name it Snapdragon. That'll get us sued. Maybe I don't even want this actually that shiny. I don't think I want it to be low. I want it to be like medium maybe. No, just low. Like that works I think with the overall off-roady aesthetic. And then as I say, just avoiding chrome in general because chrome looks too prestigious. So I think I'm onto something with the design at least. Like, as I say, it shows a pickup truck body. If it shows high performance sport, it would be a pain to try and get this thing working. As it stands, this is much more easy to get working. It's more van than pickup truck, I think. But I'm using what I can get working with the engine in the back. Like, this works, even if it's not the most pickup truck body that ever did pickup. It looks like a truck. It's also body on frame. So, you know, that is a thing. I do believe I need different wheels. It says they're forged. And I can't really change the size because I need the brakes. Maybe if I were to go with, like, some truck wheels, like actual HGV wheels or something. I don't know. Big Wim family. I don't like them. I mean, there will be something that looks kind of like forged or alloys or whatever, but isn't. So, there's those. I mean, you could have those. Like, they look like steel wheels, but by the same token, they could be alloys. It's that kind of thing. Like, you would immediately assume they're steelies, okay? If they're not steelies, though, which is possible, then it would tie in. There's no hard set rule, as far as I know, that says steelies have to look this way, alloys look this way. It's just there's generally agreed upon ideas, I feel. Like, they would be steelies because, you know, steelies typically need more metal for all the structure and stuff, but they could be alloys at the same time. No one's to know, really. You'll just assume they're steelies, and that does match the aesthetic. Even if they are technically, if I go here, forged, like, alloys or whatever, no one's really going to know at the end of it all. I do feel like we're onto something visually, though. It not choosing full racing slicks, I think, has actually helped it quite a bit, honestly. I could probably get even bigger brakes, though, if I'm honest. If I went that way. You know what? They don't actually look as much out of place as they could. So if I make them that large, I can still keep the 305s. I mean, I would say they're a little large for the body, but if I'm going with off-roadiness, can I morph that around to be... I can't seem to. I mean, I think I might be able to move that part out, yeah. Can't really do a whole lot with that. I mean, there's only so much, as I say, that I can get working. So how is it braking? 32.5. It's got worse. But I can do that with the larger wheels. There, new braking performance. Can probably try making the wheels larger as well. 30.9. Okay, that should do. We don't need a huge amount of braking on the back. And they also vented discs, so they probably don't need to be as large as the solid discs on the front. I'm obsessively saving. I do think we're onto something here. Like an hour in. And I think we have got a thing that could work. But where tyres are wide, I don't have issues with that, honestly. I have issues with the leaf springs on the front. So, the engine. We do need to adjust the engine, I feel. I'll just briefly get the transmission sorted. I'm not going to put loads of effort in. Okay, rear-wheel drive, but we've got 4.4 0 to 60. So it is putting the power down, even without all-wheel drive. That is a good thing here. I can't say for certain whether it's going to work, but it just says the rear tyres are wide. I don't think it's even complaining about the power steering. That surprises me. I guess this thing is like 1,500 kilos. Like, I look at this and I feel, just visually, I feel like this thing has to weigh 2 tons, or this thing has to weigh at least 1,800 kilos. It doesn't. It weighs 1,500. That might also help with the agility a little and stopping this thing being a complete understeery boat. For comparison, the failure of a hatchback, I mean, less power than this, had a similar drivetrain, mid-engine rear drive, and leaf springs front, double spring rear. So, you know, at least, as I say, this car has this truck has redeeming factors to it. It's not just hopeless. It's not just like a failure. Like, there's things that are going to its favour, let's say. Okay, 4,000 for VVL. How is it? Okay, valves and stuff, they're working quite well. 292. I want this car, though, or this engine, should I say, to rev a little lower. If I have to lower the VVL to help that, so be it. I mean, we can also go cam profile. Maybe they'll prefer to be a little lower. It also depends. So 291.8. We're not losing power by making the cam profile lower. And I think that is better for fuel economy. More importantly, it's better for lower RPM off-the-line acceleration, which is already actually quite impressive. Given how messed up this vehicle is, that's pretty impressive. Now, there's a massive dip, so I may have to adjust the VVL to fix that dip. Ultimately, it depends. The dip, I think, it's probably not just caused by the VVL being set up as it is, though. It's probably also caused by the supercharger and the turbocharger just not playing ball together. Like, the variable valve lift, I would say, is definitely helping tie the turbo and the supercharger together, because, like, I think the supercharger kind of fades out and then the turbo picks it up, and then the VVL is definitely going to, like, kind of help smoothen the point between the two. We are using a lot of compression. It's working, so I can't particularly complain, but it takes a lot of compression to get this thing to go. As I say, 80% is probably a little high for the overall airflow, but it's consistent and it's working. I mean, I've had cars, like, of about this weight, I think, that make 300 horsepower, and they've been fine. So, there's not a massive downside particularly, but yeah, I'm pushing the torque up by doing that. I don't really want to. Maybe if I make the turbo smaller, because I don't think the turbo is going to, like, grenade itself when it's putting out 2 PSI. But I have to do what I have to do to try and get this thing to actually run. Then there is the supercharger, which, as I say, I do not want these things to make impractical levels of torque, but no less. The turbo is good, but I can only push it so far before we start hitting the torque limit again. And this is after I've made the engine smaller. Like, I can try raising the boost limit. We don't quite exceed the torque limits, but I cannot go any further than that for boost, because it's just not safe on the engine. As I say, there's various little bits I can adjust, but I can only do so much. 312.7. This can be high. Like, low-end lag doesn't matter because we are on a twin charger, so it's all about the high end. So if we have to run a massive turbo to make the torque, make the power rather, that's fine, but torque is still an issue. Also, the technology in the turbo is a lot better, so that no doubt will help it. It doesn't say the engine's going to blow up. I like these odds. I mean, as I say, if this works, I feel like this isn't going to work. But if this car actually works, if this does make pretty nice, consistent power, you'll see it's making power. I don't like how much torque it's making because it just doesn't feel safe to the engine to me. But it's making it. I mean, I'm losing lower end here. That's the only concern I've got. But at the same time, I don't think it's losing low end badly enough. It's like, once it's kicked in, then that's fine. I may have to just try making the turbine inducer smaller. I have no idea what I'm doing. But this is helping make the high end power and the low end torque, so I will take it. I mean, generally this is pretty solid. As I say, I think I can go absolutely wild on the turbine and compressor sizes, just because this thing is not making insane amounts of boost, which it can't make because of the limitations of the torque. So I might as well just try and use this to get the best turbo response I possibly can. And then we have the supercharger, which maybe we can make a little larger without increasing torque now. I don't know if that's put torque down or up. Yeah, I think making this work, this is the hard thing. Like, there's gonna be a bit of a power dip. Adjust the supercharger gear ratio. So 2.55 maybe. As long as it, like, peak torque is still there. It's just kind of messed up in how it reaches it because of the turbo and stuff. It's the transfer point isn't ideal. I think that's the best way I can put it. That actually seems to raise low down torque a little more. Like, low down torque is impressive, and then the torque kind of just gives up, and then the torque comes back, and it is probably to do with a valve lift. So yeah, like, that's pushing very solid power though on the lower end, or very solid torque, should I say. And then it just drops off and forgets what torque is. It's kind of an odd thing to build, but at the same time, I can tell there's power here and there's torque. It's really up to how I tune it though, in how it works out. So we can raise the VVL a little, just to try and get this thing to have more balanced delivery. You see, the spike is rising. How am I supposed to go about this, though? Is it the turbo, like, just not kicking in? Because it looks more like... It looks like that might be the case. Like, I can lower that, and it just comes up as a nasty bump in the power curve. So I feel like maybe it is the turbo. Maybe it's because, as I say, I messed up the turbo size. But I want that low end. I could try losing a little bit of peak high-end power in favour of delivery kind of thing. As long as it's not like losing loads, if it gives me better overall delivery. Okay, this feels like it is somewhat fixing the power curve, having less extreme turbo sizing. And as I say, the main thing is just try and make sure that it's not hitting power too hard. And I think we should be fine to balance the whole thing out. It's just how small can I make it? Even if it's making 310 horse, I think that's enough for the weight. I think 310 horsepower is pretty good for the weight of this thing. It's going to move. It's on very good tyres. I just fear those front leaf springs. I mean, I named this a quest for disc brakes. I got disc brakes. Oh man, it did so much worse though than that as an issue. You can't have everything, I guess. So we've got, okay, 3900. Maybe if I adjust the valve lift profile. That doesn't seem to be doing what I want it to. Actually, it seems like maybe that's the overall curve. I think I can make this work. So we'll lower that to 3800. Okay, can you function for me, please? Okay, that's better. I have to put the VVL in pretty early, and the power's still not working out as I would ideally like it to, but a 50 VVL per, can I lower that? How does it react if I lower that? Actually, kind of better. Kind of. 3700, will you do a job? Nope. So, where's the VVL? Yeah, it's like there's definitely a fine balance to adjusting the valve lift. There is no VVT, so this is like a point of control that I have. And even then, maybe I raise this up even more, but raise the VVL profile. Nope, that doesn't work. Like, just trying to get the valve lift to kick in at the right point without hitting power severely. So, okay. I feel like this is maybe as good as... No, the dip is too much, though. Honestly, the dip is just too much. So I feel like I'm going to have to leave it at something like this. I can try adjusting cam profile and everything around that. Okay, does that make... Actually, adding a little cam profile appears to improve it just a little. Just a tiny amount of cam profile, though. I mean, as I say, I'm finding the power, though. The 6700 RPM, that is the best peak power point, I think. I kind of don't want to lose that. Oh, how childish to do it, just like some dumb reason, but... Compression, that can be lowered a little. It loves high compression, like almost extreme compression, and we are getting 10 miles per gallon. Honestly, I think for nitromethane, is it? That's pretty good. I mean, I think nitromethane makes good power. The compressor is 168. That is using a lot of airflow. But at this point, I'm just going to let it. It makes power. It's okay. Like, reasonably enough power. I mean, as I say, the torque, like, comes on incredibly early, loses all torque, and then starts building torque again. It's a very odd experience. We are making torque within the limitations. So it's not ideal, but, you know, the engine isn't exploding from over-torquing everything. So we can go, maybe make the exhaust a little smaller. No, I think we want it to be a little larger. I think I'll take 310. Valves are on 85%. Does that mean we need the exhaust to be smaller to line up? Perhaps. So if we go headers, we can try adjusting the headers, making them maybe larger for airflow reasons. Maybe I should have done this earlier. You know, just making sure the whole airflow is kind of lined up. I'd be about as much as I can. If we make the exhaust size larger now... Okay, I can take that. That is fairly close. We're not making too much torque. We are almost maxing this out for as much torque as it can possibly handle, but we are within limitations, within tolerances. I think that's going well. 85, 84. The exhaust has lowered quite a bit. We have got massive exhaust. We've got exhaust issues, yes, but we've got exhaust. Does that want the exhaust to be larger to actually make any kind of power, I wonder? No, so it's not the exhaust. Then we can try and adjust this. This and the header and the exhaust are linked. So we've got consistent 85% airflow for the most part. Compressor and turbine are not particularly close to that. I can also try adjusting the compression, adjusting the fuel mixture. And I think we should be there after that. I do want like 310 horse, but what works, and not everything does. I don't know if this helps with a valve lift, though, and just general power curve. I think it does, actually. Well, we can go to 3700. Like, if this is perfectly stable, I mean, that's worth something. 301. So 3800 maybe? It's a little lumpy, but the power curve is good. Not great, but the power curve is decent. We can try adjusting the cam profile a little. Oh, has that worked? That has smoothened it out. Now, if I can make the AVL like a taller number, the cam profile is smoothening this out somewhat, though. I didn't expect that. Cam profile is my new hero, apparently. Okay, we can raise the variable valve lift. You know what? I think I'm getting this working in like a pretty unconventional way. It is getting decent overall like power curve. We've also, actually we're hitting torque there. That has uses. I'm not going to complain too much about it hitting torque. So we've got that. Then we can adjust springs and lifters perhaps, and maybe the VVL amount. We don't want to raise the RPM though. Like, that's another issue for another day. 6,700, and a good number indeed. Okay, we're getting the power back. Airflow has stayed fairly consistent. The valves have actually gone down, and I don't know. I don't think that's a particularly bad thing. We are lowering the valves. Oh, we've got 6,600 as the RPM now, and we've not adjusted the variable valve lift, so the thing is having a panic attack at like mid RPMs. There we go. Like, there's kind of a dip here. That could be worse. For 307.7. Okay, I'll take this. In general, like, this isn't too bad. I could keep it on, like, 6,700, but honestly, I think this is going to work better. So we've got 307.7. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this now. Like, it's maybe not making the most power it's ever made. Power is solid, torque is solid. It's just generally making the power it needs. The rear brake force is very high. The brakes are suffering from brake fade. The clearance at the front of the engine is very narrow. Yeah, so we've got brake fade, apparently. That's not great. But I think, as I say, the manual steering is not destroying this. So I can see if this thing makes more sound as well. But I do have to adjust everything. Like, I have to make everything work. Ooh, now it's making some extra power. Has raised the RPM, but I don't know. I guess you gain some, you lose some. We are getting the 6,700, which is something, I guess. I mean, if RPM is no longer an issue, then I'm going to do that. Right, cam profile. No, you can't really save me, can you? We could try moving the VVL profile, but I don't think that's going to do anything good for it. No, it isn't. 316.1, 0.2. VVL profile. The compression is seeming to be unnaturally high. But that's how it is. We have got manifold. Can we adjust that to go with the valves? Kind of. So, header size. And the exhaust even can be larger. So I've kind of sorted out the airflow, and now everything is just following. This is some solid power, considering the engine is kind of messed up. Yeah, those airflow numbers are looking pretty good to me. Bit of a dip in the power curve, or a torque curve. The power curve isn't that bad, it's just the torque curve has a dip. But it holds very solid. It holds very solid torque, actually, for a lot of a power curve, despite its issues. Can probably let it growl, roar, whatever. It sounds good. Like, I wouldn't say the thing is, I wouldn't say this thing is the loudest, but it sounds pretty decent. I mean, I just realised it's 2-valve single overhead cam. Stuff like that is going to restrict it. But honestly, I've had a V12 which didn't make 2/3 of this power. So, I think we're doing okay. Yes, I have had to cheese a little by making it to 3.5 litres instead of the full 4, but hey, it's within my requirements. I allowed the wheel to choose. This is not the most powerful, but as I say, 300, just under 320, I'll take it. The thing is going to move. And it doesn't weigh that much. Like, it weighs just over 1,500 kilos. So that power figure isn't that bad. It's like BMW E46 levels almost. Almost. I don't think it's quite there. But that's not such a terrible figure. We have our 5-speed transmission. If we can lengthen out the first gear and not lose acceleration, or at least not lose much acceleration, that would kind of be preferable. Because I do want this thing to grip. I don't want it to spin up the wheels. And especially with VFE suspension, I feel it's like, if this goes, if the rear starts going wayward, I feel like it's not going to be fixable. So maybe if I just keep this thing constantly gripping, we will be safe. So can we go maybe 4.1 again? Yes. I'm probably actually just better off like ramping up the spread for high RPM. And then just adjusting this for low RPM. I think it has the power that the thing can find grip low down without really trying. Yeah, so, I don't know. It gets to 60 in second gear. That's pretty solid. And as I say, it's going to be better if we can do that without really trying on the low end to ramp everything up. Because I do not want this thing to spin wheels. I do not want it to lose control. How is our weight balance looking? Has it got any better? If anything, this engine will have got heavier with the tuning. No, 57.9. I might have made the engine lighter. We've got 58% rear. As much as I hate these leaf springs being on the front, then we are making power. We are making hopefully grip. You know, I don't know, 4.1 seconds 0 to 60, or 0 to 62. Like, that's not slow. If this can actually get that kind of performance figure and use it, there's going to be worse cars out there. We have drivability now. Before it was saying this thing was, like, totally undrivable. I'm going to make the back end as stiff as I can because of those leaf springs, which are naturally stiff. Before, like, it starts hitting the sportiness horrendously badly. I can kind of like, I would say revive. I can kind of bring back some of the performance. Yeah, the rear ride frequency is like, okay, I'll honour that much. I'll lower it until the rear ride frequency is not bugging it so much. And then I'm probably still like stiff enough. Wow, it does not like it. Like, does not like it being that firm at all. So, rear ride frequency is complaining about that. I can go up to about 8 before it gives me rear ride frequency complaints, which is stiff enough, honestly. I just want this to be, like, to the level of reason. The rear dampers are hard. The rear dampers are hard. Can I go 4.4? No. It just doesn't like stiff dampers. We can then try adjusting the rear sway bar, which it likes. Because, as I say, this is messed up with the leaf springs on the front. The closest I can do to try and get this thing to corner is make the back end incredibly stiff. Because double wishbones just do not have that stiffness of leaf springs. Yep, it's liking the stiff anti-roll bars on the back, and I cannot blame it for that. Leaf springs are intrinsically stiff round corners, so it's just trying to match the whole thing up, which I will take. I mean, why the drivability was nothing before and now it's actually gone to something, I don't know. You can try making the front a little stiffer if it prefers that, but I don't like making leaf springs stiff. If it works, then it works, but I don't know. As I say, before losing, I think before losing the overall handling score or drivability score, sportiness, that's it. Before losing the sportiness score, I'll do that. Then we can maybe stiffen up the dampers. Okay. Then it complains they're hard. I feel like that's pretty good overall. About as good as I'm going to get with such a messed up suspension setup. This thing might be quick though, and it doesn't look as far off as it could. Because as I say, it's a pickup truck body, so you don't need the pickup truck body to be super low to the ground to make this actually work. We have got good suspension, but probably not on the front. The actual config of the suspension on the back is good. We're doing 150. I expected more than that given the power it's making. Have to remember, it's a pickup truck with no under tray whatsoever. 150 is decent. So we are getting somewhere. We are not going with aero because the wheel decided I'm not allowed aero. And I think really all that's left now, after an hour and a half, is to finally design the thing. So as I say, I'm going to go with this consistent theme of... It's got a two-tone. I do need to adjust the two-tone actually. But I was going to go with a consistent theme of like just general plastics everywhere because off-road. So that's a thing. Secondary car, as I say, I can adjust this colour. To make it, like, I'm going to keep the same hex code, naturally. Could make it a bit less shiny, perhaps like 75%. Because it shows 100% shininess. And then I can get rid of all the flake. Actually, if I get rid of all the flake and go with like 50% shininess. That should work. And then I'll go with, actually no, I think even that shininess is just too much. Can go with, let's try 33%. Still got some shine to it. Looks kind of plasticky if I'm honest. But I do want like super flaky, beautiful blue paint. I can add a bit of flake maybe. But I don't know. I feel like that turns it purple. So I think I'll just leave that on 0 just to honour the colour it gives me. Okay, so I think that looks okay. It's not the prettiest, but it did declare those two colours, so... I'm going to try and do what I can. I think we don't need anything super sophisticated on the front. We can go with our standard, like, dual headlight setup. There is a thing here. Like, something like that. They look small. I feel sure you should get them larger than that. Something like that. I mean, I don't like resizing these because they're regulatory sizes, but... At the same time, I don't know if they're the dual size. There's different things, as I say. There's different, like, size measurements. I'm going to just make these a little larger. I get that feeling that, like, these are going to be too large, but I think... Just to make this thing look, like, consistent, I think I'll do that, and then... So what do we have here? We also have those, interestingly. They kind of work, but... I think I'll go with these. Like, make these... Get rid of this chrome. I feared it was actually going to crash there. I'll use the same plastic I've used elsewhere. So a manual save that. So Radeon 7000 series. What do you mean these things crash on automation? That's not a thing. I'm just changing a lot of stuff as like body colour or whatever. Finally, we're getting to the important bits. Like, there we go. We don't need chrome. Chrome is for luxury, and we don't need luxury. Now, I'm going to add a grille on the front just to make it look correct, but the engine is still in the back. I think it's like bugging out a little. So, brakes. We do need to adjust the brakes. Let's see what we got for sportiness score here. Just trying to make this as sporty as I can. I don't want massive rear brakes. If it fixes brake fade, though. Yeah, it's like, it's saying there's brake fade, and I think the only way to actually fully fix this may just be by making the rear brakes larger. Not ideal for weight, but I think we can work around it. I think the engine has a torque and just general potency. Ah. Hi, Elena, again. I've built a thing, or the wheel has built a thing. It gave me my biggest fear. It gave me my biggest fear ever, front leaf springs. Because who needs actual suspension? And then it gave me good rear suspension, naturally. Yeah, it's, as a pickup truck, it doesn't look as bad, but... Anyway, this is what I've got. Trying to adjust the brakes now. I will be doing a little more design on it as well in the moment. Just trying to fix this brake fade, which is really not so sure about. Come on, I need you to stop brake fading and fix yourself. Okay, now the brake fade is pretty minor. It has sorted that out with brute size. Just brute size up the brakes. That's how you fix any problem. We have got the design, which could be kind of fun. It's going to be an off-road van truck. It's off-road van truck. Got the grill. Actually, I've had an idea. No, I don't think it's going to work. We have these. This is not going to stay chrome. There we are. Chrome is for luxury. We don't need luxury. I feel like I should just make everything plastic to remind you it's cheap. No, because plastic is off-road. Off-road means you have to get everything made out of plastic. That's like a rule in the car industry. So we can have those. We can bring those forwards. Not the wheel's finest work, but anyway, we can go with that. Add a bit of colour. We can go on car. Plastic everywhere. We have got plastic here as well. Yay. Now the blue just looks even more off. Can get the interior, no, the internal grille type thing. Where is it? There it is. Egg crate, yay. Gotta have the egg crate. Is that a coding error? That looks like some error in the coding. What are you? Wait, is that wait, is that backwards? Core 2 Duo. Core 2 Duo high. You are how? You are how? I read somehow. Only via... The thing is, I think you can get an upside down question mark. That should be at the start. That is my only criticism. As such a thing exists. Yes. I mean, I am just... I've got a lot of editing to do. Probably won't be streaming a whole lot because editing takes time. Like, I've got so much that I've been recording from the streams, and I've not done anything with it. So we do need we need some indicators. I mean, I have a vision. So make that go forwards. Yeah, I'm just thinking now, like a wheel. What is wheel? You've let me down. You keep making all these mistakes and I have to fix them for you. So we go albatross, whatever, why is it called that? I don't know. There we are. What an elegant high-end vehicle. It is rear engine, so we do need some cooling for that. I can go scoops and... Actually, let's add some mighty scoops on there. We could add plastic scoops as well. For added effect. Is that on both sides? No, it isn't. We can go and... Can move that forward a little, I feel. This is this is the best way to do cooling. Just a load of plastic that doesn't need to be there. Only there is chrome. We aren't allowed chrome. We have the chrome at home, otherwise known as plastic. We also apparently don't have cooling on the other side. That still hasn't got cooling on the other side. There we are. Now there is cooling. I feel like they should be lined up though on the top and bottom. So that is a thing. We need I think we need a grill on the back. Lower grill. Masks down. Makes down upside. Makes down upside. Wow, I'm not good at reading. I mean, I could actually put the could put these the other way round. That wouldn't do much. So yeah, we need a grill. Could make this upside down. We can go flip that the other way up. This is engine cooling. It's also going to be where the tail lights are housed. And naturally, we don't get chrome here either. We've got our priorities wrong. Chrome is expensive. Back in my day, we didn't have chrome. In my day, we didn't have chrome. We just had one mouldy cheese and we liked it. That's actually lined up pretty good, I think. Rear engine pickup truck is not a normal thing to do, but the wheel chose it and the wheel is all-knowing. I thought I could add the like the bash bar thing here. This is not really an off-roader, but it's the only way I can make the design work. One mouldy cheese. We don't need more mouldy cheeses. We just lived with one and it was fine. Kids these days with multiple cheeses. They don't know what it was like. The cheese touch, I remember that. Thinking actually if I can get the morph here. The cheese touch, yeah. Oh. It's like, the whole premise, though. Like, how did they just leave a cheese there for, like, 7 years and not do anything with it? Like, how did that even become a thing? Ah, this will have to do for my, bash bar. Could add some fog lights to it. So if we go 3D, can probably make them a little smaller. That doesn't really work. You can see the grill behind it. Let's just pretend they work. It became a thing because... The way you say it became a thing because reasons. Budget cuts. The budget cuts made the cheese touch the only solution. Eventually, the cheese became the school mascot. So it had to stay. We couldn't get rid of our own mascot. What kind of monsters do you think we are? I feel like I'll drive this thing. I'll either like it, or I'll absolutely despise it and never want to drive it again. Grill. We need the grills. Come on. There we go. I feel like this kind of mesh would look good. So we can go make this, have we got that? Yeah, we've done that on the front. We can use this colour, like, underneath, and... Actually, I've had an idea. We can use that, and then we can have it, like, covered by plastic, because, of course, we need our plastic. Okay, that doesn't quite fit as I was hoping. Ah, I'm messing with it the wrong way. There we are. It's taken almost 2 hours, but we finally have a design. Those side vents, oh dear, those side vents look the other... They look like they are just completely the wrong way. How that happened? Totally not my mistake. I totally didn't do that. Cheese cat. There is actually a cat. I mean, I don't know if I've got it, but... Nah, I don't think I do. There was a cat add-on. I could have put that in the bed. I think they call it Maxwell, but... Yeah, it's like, it just doesn't seem to be installed. Like, if it's a mod, I'll have to download that. We can put a bike in the back. Oh, no, wait, I found it. I found Maxwell. Yes! Wait, it's a giant cat. I don't actually hate this idea. I don't hate this idea. I have to use it. Ah, if I can ever like line it up. The cat delivery wagon. I think if I go... Maybe I go 0 here. This is a giant cat. I mean, I was going to think I could make a cat smaller, but at the same time... why not just have a giant cat? Yeah. It's going to be like just this giant cat in the back. Actually, I could give it a baby cat as well to sit next to it. I know. It's got that Mice and Macaw face as well. Very detailed face here. It is a very cute cat. That's why we have to have it. That's why I have to take it everywhere with us. I should have added it to like other cars, but I didn't think. I think I can lower him a little into the bed. Yeah, if I had loads of time, I could like literally make it into a cat bed. Actually, I wonder if I can find like some fluff or something. We need another one. That's the wrong way. Oh dear. Oh yeah, someone did do that, and it was actually like when you turn the engine on, the cat spun. I don't think I know how to set that up right now, but I did see that someone had done it. We can have a whole family of Maxwells, because why not? Ah! Yay! The Maxwell family. They all have the same name. Staring each other down. Yeah, the cat should draw. I could try and give him a pen. I could do so much, but it's like it would take time. I feel like if I can go interior 3D or not interior, there should be seats somewhere. So I think I can like use them. Ah, there we go. I think this is a kind of thing I need. Oh yes, this is an idea. I'm having ideas. So this was not meant to be a like cat bed, but who's to say I can't try and use it this way? There we go. Try and line this up. There is method to my madness. There we go. There's gotta be one of these. I forget where exactly it rotates them. I don't think this bench has... No, actually, I've had a better idea. I can just stretch out. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, so... I can just, like, stretch that out a little and use that. To, like, line it up. I mean, you'll notice if you look super close that it has actually been stretched out, but I don't think it'll be enough of an issue. Then we can mirror that. No, okay. Doesn't want to be mirrored. There we go. Oh, wait, actually. Could go, maneuver that maybe, and then we... There we go. It's like if you look super close, you'll see the flaws, but I think for the most part, yeah, making the family comfortable. I could change the colour even. It lets you do that. Actually, I've had an idea. Because we've got a colour scheme decided by the wheel, I have had like a brilliant idea. I think we'll go with some cloth. Actually, I need to get the hex colour generator. Copy the colour not RGB, it's like the hex value. Did I do that correctly? No, I didn't. So we want cloth. So we can go Control V on that. There we go. It's called smelt. Of course it's called smelt. So, yeah, we can go adjust all of this stuff to our smelt colour. On car. I'm trying to design a car, and what do? I end up creating a cat bed. Actually, I've come up with the best name ever. Apparently I've like reset the whole thing. That's not good. Oh, I deleted the colour. I messed up. Anyway, there is that's apparently Chrome. I need a seatbelt. No, they'll be fine. There's enough padding. There's enough padding to keep them in place. I chose the luxury seats, so they should be okay. Okay, so we've got... There's where the cloth is. I think, there's roughness there. There's got to be, like, a... Is the texture size? Scale with object, does that... I think scale with objects makes it a little less, like, obnoxious. Obnoxiously bright. Now it's called that. Then we go on car, there we are. This is probably one of my finest creations yet. It's the cat's car. We are just borrowing it. The real Maxwell mobile. I know. Look, it's going to drive like trash, I think, because of the front leaf springs. But it has cats. So the cats fix the entire car and all its issues. The mass bomb. There was, I did see someone on Discord, like, using a slot machine add-on, and I was like, yes, we have got a victory. So... If we could get a cat badge, but I already have the wheel badge, that's one thing I want to keep consistent. If there's a cat badge, I'll add it as like a trim line badge, because of course I have to do that now. Oh wait, Actually, there is one thing I can do. There's like a text tool here. Come on. There we are. It's eventually worked. Maxwell. Because, you know, sometimes pickup trucks have, like, these lettering on the back. Yes. Maxwell. I mean, I could put it on here as well. You know what, why not just have the Maxwell, but also have a badge? Actually, what I could do, I think I can get this working because there's a little space down here. Is this... Oh, this is on 3D for some reason. It needs to be on 2D for the actual setting it. So I think that fits over there quite well. On the top of your bonnet or hood. Calls it a bonnet in here. So is that in 2D as well? No, that's on 3D. I can make that 2D because it should generally just fit better that way. Ah, it's sizing the Maxwell text wrong. It's like the Pope, but a cat. This design is quite something. I mean, it's like I just saw there was the seats, and then it just got out of control from there. So we're also going to have our wheel badge. Because we need that by this point. Like, that's mandatory. There's got to be, there's got to be the badges here. Oh, there we go. Then we can get the V, wherever the V might be. The good thing is, if I actually get myself together, I will have a picture of this on Discord for like forever, because when I put the car files up, I put a picture of them, or 2 pictures sometimes, so it will like be immortalised on there. I have to get a good picture of this, because I have to do the cats justice. Ah, I need to like drag that and also drag that because it's easier than trying to copy it. I mean, the Maxwell still even makes canonical sense because it's called the Maxwell Mobile, so having the wheel and wheel logo and that, it still makes kind of sense. Because Maxwell is like the line. I think I've done a good job. We are going to need some tail lights. Oh, I've had an idea here. I've had another dumb idea. So, you know, we can have tail lights in this game. And you know, there's like other lights you have to add with the tail lights, typically to make a complete and realistic car. I think we can add some of these. Like, this part isn't that, how would you say, important. Like, these are just a round pair of tail lights, but I will make them so much more. Should make sense eventually. Maxwell should actually be quite warm as well, because remember, the engine is down there, so that should act like a heated bed for Maxwell. So, you know, I've accidentally built best car for cats. So I think if we go indicators... Yes! Oh, yes, this is brilliant. Can probably make these a little smaller. The wheel forever, yeah. I mean, it's like the wheel... Sometimes, I know it's got no, like, sense of self or anything, but sometimes it does just build, like, glorious things. I mean, this doesn't line up exactly. Maybe I'll change the order, make this one... No. Okay, it doesn't quite fit perfectly. Actually, one thing I can kind of do to cheese it. Okay, that works. Like, it's not perfect, but it makes sure it's not, like, sticking through the front of the other trim piece so badly. So that's going to be our indicators, I think. They're going to be the indicators or reverse lights, depending on how I can get this working. And just for the overall symmetry, I'll move these ones across, and that will like use a mirror. Maxwell is our king. Nah, so I'll go... Actually, yeah, there's one thing I can try here, and that's just making this larger. Kinda works. Maybe if I move it down a little. That's close to working. So, we'll go add the... I think we'll add the reverse lights here. That should work. So, over 2 hours in now. It's taken a while to build the Maxwell Mobile. I was thinking I could add a little cat mouth. I don't think I could quite get that working, but... At this point, like, why not? If we get a W... Yes. I think we need to bring it to the front. No, we won't, will we? Yeah. Bring that to the front. I wonder if there's any better text, because that one doesn't quite work better. If we go with something a little more rounded. I think that's a little more rounded. Because the other one is like really sharp angled text. We'll take over everything and everyone. At this rate, it probably will, honestly. Sakura did say, though, that I was going to be late to the stream. And I was actually early, so I'm not so sure you can trust her. It's like a weird one-eyed cat. But it adds to the aesthetic of the Maxwell Mobile. Maybe the Maxwell Mobile needs lore, I don't know. There it is. It's got little cat tail lights. Has the music finished? I think it has. I don't know, I can just like reset it back. Just replay this part of the music, just set something on. I could have added a Maxwell bonnet ornament, but then I've already got the badge, as I say, so... We do need an exhaust. It's technically only a single exhaust, but we can do something. This should work. Just give it a fairly large dual exhaust. Yeah, is it, I don't know. It answered to the exact same command earlier before I started streaming. No idea what's going on there. I think Sakura is just scared to doubt the wheel. Because the wheel has absolute power. The wheel has built many cars. It's even designed arts now at this point, so I think the wheel is a bit too powerful to bother fighting. There is our 4.2 0 to 60. I can try and regain a little speed. I think it's either weight getting put onto the car or something like that. Okay, that's fixed it. We're now doing the correct speed. So yeah, about 60 miles per hour-ish is second gear, which makes sense. 10 miles per gallon, which this is actually the least efficient car the wheel has built. It's built less fuel efficient cars. The Maxwell Mobile. 1541 kilos. I think we're pretty much done. It does need to do some stuff with the brakes. Need to let the sportiness decide. It actually has a pretty high sportiness score considering the messed up suspension. Do we want the pad type to be more aggressive, I wonder? Apparently so. I mean, at this point, I'm just taking what it tells me. As long as the brakes are good and they slow the vehicle. Which, from the numbers, they look very good. So, 27.2. We don't need a huge amount of brake force on the back, which is why I'm doing this. Can make the size a little smaller as well. .8. It's not actually complaining about brake fade. Maxwell has made the brakes cool themselves better. Maxwell has improved the brake performance of this car or truck. I think that's impressive. Because we all have Maxwell to thank for that. The brakes were overheating a little before Maxwell showed up. Now they're not overheating at all. Star Wars spoons. There was always bending the spoon with your mind. I think it wasn't a spoon in one of the Toy Stories. It was like one of the main characters or something. I don't know. I've not seen it, but I know they were marketing the spoon character a lot at the time. I'm going to find out that was like 15 years ago or something, and it feels like it was about 2-3 years ago. There we go. Increase the aggression of your brake pads. We must have Maxwell slow down at speed. The power of Maxwell compels you. That should be this car's catchphrase. The power of Maxwell compels you. The power of Maxwell compels you to drive quicker. Imagine if the Maxwell Mobile's the quickest car on the leaderboard. It will be fast, just I don't know how controllable it will be. It has the specs to go quite fast though. So we've got 28.1 for braking performance. That's pretty good. 31. We may be able to make the front brakes a little smaller. Apparently not. So are the front brakes like that on edge? No. Could try making the front force lower. Maybe if that makes it a little more, how would you say it? A little more, like, controllable and less on edge. I don't know. Wait, I could try increasing the front brake force. No. Okay, 100 it's happy with. Front brakes I don't have to do a whole lot with. This is going to brake incredibly well, though, considering it's a pickup truck. It's also light because of a carbon fibre bodywork. We have to keep Maxwell safe, though. Like, that is our mission. I could actually move Maxwell a bit because it's, like, right up against the edge of the bed. So that's one last adjustment I can make before we take this thing to BeamNG and actually drive it. There we go. Ah, okay. I won't move Maxwell anymore. So, I could put a turbo there. That does nothing. You know what? I think we need one thing. I think Maxwell needs a hat. I'll see if I can find anything to use as a hat. Oh, I've had an idea. I've had an idea. Trust this will work. It's not going to be the greatest hat in the world, but it'll be something. Ah, I'm not moving Maxwell, I'm moving the little hat. So we can just adjust this so it actually kind of fits on his head. Something like that. Yeah. Honestly, it's pretty close to the emoji what I've got planned. As I say, that's not going to be the greatest hat in the world, but I can try giving it like the effect of a ribbon because it should be easy enough. Ah, I pressed the wrong key. So we have that. I'm going to have to recolour this. We can actually give him... Actually, we have this other colour, so why not give him a hat that matches the bed and thus matches the overall colour scheme? Then this can be... I don't know, make it plastic because I have that colour saved. No one will really know it's not like cloth or anything. There we go. Maxwell now has a hat. If I actually make this slightly larger. There we go. Just so it doesn't like clip per se. There we go. Maxwell now has a hat. A much needed addition. I don't really like the angle it's at, but what am I going to do now? So we should be able to export this and drive the Maxwell mobile. Which is like, I can't believe I'm saying that because it doesn't feel, still doesn't feel ready, but anyway, we will see. We'll get to drive a Maxwell at high speed. Yes, just spin it to the best part. I thought it was going to crash then. It didn't. I mean, I have to upload this to the BeamNG website, even if it drives awfully, just because Maxwell. Just so everyone can drive a Maxwell vehicle. There we go. So I can switch to BeamNG, close all this game down, and then we can finish with the music. We can leave that game, and BeamNG should load up in a moment. Don't make a liar of me, start BeamNG. There we are. The Maxwell Mobile will fly or drive, whatever. So, more time trials. It's going to be so good to see this in the vehicle selector menu. Come on. Every time it like stutters, I keep getting concerned this is going to crash. Is it? Is it actually picking it up on the OBS? There it is. I think I did one thing, and I think I lowered the audio of BeamNG. I will fix that. So, have to go to my desktop. Sounds. I mean, I think I did that just because Beam was very loud. So, I had to fix that. Now, I'm on the complete wrong menu. I will get this sorted so the Maxwell Mobile can be heard. Open volume mixer, is that? There it is. There we go, so... It literally makes cat noises. I will, The thing makes cat noises. Just, I'll raise the volume a little. I have to put it up because I have to share the sound of the cat noises it makes. That should be audible, and a cheese goes flying. Actually, I want to turn the ESC off, because these things are typically quicker if you turn it off, so... The Maxwell Mobile is making a lot of steam, or exhaust gases. Maxwell is wobbling! It literally makes cat noises, that's the best side effect I could have had. It's when I lift off, mainly. This doesn't actually drive half bad. The power... Come on, get moving. The power of Maxwell compels you. It's very quiet on the power, but it makes glorious cat noises when you, like, lift off. Oh dear, Maxwell, don't tip over. The Maxwell Mobile wants to tip over, as it turns out. I know, it's like the most beautiful thing ever. I will put the lights on just to see. Well, I guess it light when I brake. The hat's wobbling. The hat's wobbling with Maxwell. I'm sure, the funny thing is I'm sure this car is going to be quick. It's not so quick on the straightaways as I was hoping, but it's going to be quick round the corners. This sounds like a cat crying when you lift off the power and go onto the brakes or whatever. It's like Maxwell likes going quick, and whenever you slow down, he gets all upset. That's actually some nice steer under the brakes. I feared I was going to go off the course, but I didn't. Like, I don't know how quick this is exactly going to be. Yeah, straight line speed isn't everything. It does slow well, and it does corner surprisingly well. Oh dear. Like, I was concerned it was going to tip over there, so I just went on the grass. It was actually a little safer. You can tell when I'm not on the power without even looking. Oh, the avatar is blocking the speedometer, but you can tell when I'm not on the power because it makes cat noises. So... You can kind of hear the supercharger on power, but when it makes a real cat noise. I went over those bumps and the hat just jumped. Considering how messed up the suspension is, having like the leaf springs on the front, the thing does not handle badly at all. Yay! At this point, I'm convinced those noises are just Maxwell making those noises and not actually the truck. Could probably shift down. I mean, third gear, that's too high. Meow. Keep up the speed. There we go. Going over 100 miles per hour in the Maxwell mobile. I think can supposedly do 150. It's like a drivable cat bed more than it is an actual car. It's just getting off of power is so hilarious because it's like got a cat in the back and it just makes literal cat noises. On the power. This thing does not drive badly at all. It's pretty stable. I mean, if you push it over a curb, it will try and tip over, but for the most part, it's actually very easy to drive and predictable. And that's worth something when you want to go quick. There we are. Come on. Yeah, some oversteer when you lift off, but it's not too bad. There we are. I actually forget this isn't actually all-wheel drive. It feels like it's all-wheel drive with all the grip it has. It doesn't understeer though, which is definitely nice. The wheel built a good car here. Am I already on like... No, I think I've already done 3 laps. I didn't notice. It was just so much fun. There we go, the Maxwell mobile. Oh, I missed the 3rd lap. Like, I thought, oh, this is the last lap. No, it wasn't. Okay. I think I'll have to give it another go. So I think I'll give it another, Actually, if I hit R, I'm going to give it an extra lap. Or not an extra lap. I missed the 3rd lap, so I'm going to have to go at it another 3rd time. I don't think it's going to matter. 2nd lap was so good. I don't think I'm going to gain much speed on that anyway. I can try going a bit crazy with the power and seeing how the thing actually takes it. It understeers under power. That's interesting. Takes bumps okay. Like, not perfectly, but it's not bad. Oh, cut that corner beautifully. I probably shouldn't be cutting corners, but anyway. Maxwell said he'll forgive me for cutting corners. So it's okay. Oh no, Maxwell! What have I done to you? Maxwell is not looking very happy. Look away, kids. Oh dear. Honestly, it still drives after all that though. That's the most surprising thing. I kind of wrecked the Maxwell mobile, but it just got on its wheels and it's still driving. It's like, what have I done to the Maxwell? I think also it does actually have 4 seats. I think that's so you can put 3 Maxwells in when you're driving. Oh dear. Ow. I mean, as I say, I'm not too bothered about messing this up because the 2nd lap was very good. At least this gave me a chance to go crazy and see how it would take it. Surprisingly well, as it seems. Granted, I am turning a lot to the right to go straight. Maxwell mobile is not really a Maxwell mobile anymore. It looks more like a bush than it does an actual cat. Oh no, no, no. Ah! No! The Maxwell mobile is not liking this. The weirdest part is it's not actually a pain to drive either. Like, you would think this thing is absolutely painful to drive in its current state. I feel like I've driven worse randomised builds. Oh dear. There's the ladder frame. Come on, Maxwell Mobile. We must cross the finish line. Oddly, I feel like that lap wasn't too slow, despite everything. So I'll have to go and see what kind of time it's done. Time trials. Imagine if this is the fastest car. Ooh! Look at that! The Maxwell Mobile is the second quickest car. It's within a second of this, which was like a legitimate kind of race vehicle it built. And then Maxwell Mobile. This thing is quick. Far faster than it has any right to be. And then that had more power. It had a bit more weight, but that had more power as well, and all-wheel drive. And then Maxwell Mobile comes along. I think I can take it, I think I have a few minutes to take this to free roam somewhere. Let's see, where would be entertaining to take Maxwell to? Let's take him to Utah. No, Utah. I'm confusing it with a voice bank software. Come on, Maxwell Mobile. Why aren't you showing up the Maxwell Mobile? Disgraceful. The Maxwell Mobile should be at the top. This is the best car ever, though. Like, ever built by the wheel. I mean, I don't like how the suspension is configured at all. But it doesn't change the fact. This thing is just brilliant. Maxwell has saved it. Maxwell fixed the brakes as well. We all know Maxwell was the reason for that. Oh dear. I had my wheel turned to the left. I'm going to leave it in auto first. Just see how it does on this kind of off-roady trail. It is on rain racing tyres with rear-wheel drive, so it should not actually be that great here. But at the same time, I think the Maxwell Mobile is going to be good off-road. Very bouncy, which I guess you could expect for a track car. Come on, Maxwell. You can do it. Come on, Maxwell. We've got a journey to go on. I think the ESC is on. I would turn it off, honestly, but since I'm off-road, it's probably best to just not have the wheels spinning. Come on, Maxwell. Oh, dear, dear. Maxwell, we're falling off. Maxwell, don't worry, I can save you. I can fix him. Come on, Maxwell. Maxwell, I'm clicking on the wrong window. Ah! Maxwell, I must get you back onto the pathway, road, whatever. Where's me mouse? I have done it. Maxwell, we did not fall off. Be proud of me, Maxwell. Come on, Maxwell, we will make this journey. Come on, power. As I say, it's a bit lumpy on this terrain, but I've built it as track vehicle, so that makes sense. The fact this is our second quickest car, and by less than a second, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting it to drive this well. So Maxwell has assisted, I reckon, in the performance of the thing. Makes a million different cat noises when you're not on the power. Oh, a little bouncy. That's okay. It's like, the thing is, this gave me a bad suspension setup, but then it made up for it later on. And it actually ended up making a very quick, generally surprisingly balanced car. Come on, Maxwell. Ow. Oh dear. We appear to be stuck, Maxwell. Come on, where's with us? It's surprisingly good off-road as well. I must say that. Like, I would have expected it to perhaps be a little worse. It actually does take the bumps. We must go on, Maxwell. I feel like I need to make a Discord like emote of Maxwell at this point because I can make so many memes of it. Oh, come on. Maxwell is not enjoying the bumps. Ow. We have made it! Yay! It's actually not bad on the snow. Like, I've driven worse. There's cars that are all-wheel drive that are worse on the snow than this. I guess the rear engine nature does help somewhat. Whee! And I think the ESC as well. Can go over here. I mean, we definitely didn't fall off a cliff, so that's something. Oh no, Maxwell, you don't look so well. I think your hat is a bit off, Maxwell. Probably finish up here. There we are. Say goodbye, Maxwell. Maxwell, do not use those words. No, you shouldn't say that, Maxwell. Yeah. Anyway, I'll leave it here for today. We will maybe build some other insanity another day, but for now, I will say goodbye until